Hello there, stranger, and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. I am the Laughing Rook, and it is a pleasure to have you. This is another reading. Today, a shorter story, suggestive that even those things too small to mention are quite capable of running a shiver up your spine. If you enjoy my reading, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to be notified when I release another video. My Discord server is open to all, so follow the invite link found in the description to visit. And finally, it's worth noting, if this story speaks to you, there is another link in the description to see the original post, where you can upvote it and leave feedback for the author. Now, relax. And make sure you have an exterminator on speed dial. Written on Nosleep by Reddit user Anfivina, today's tale, The Ants. I've been watching the ants nest for a few hours now. I like the way they scurry. They're busy, industrious, purposeful. Not like me. Lazy, my boss used to say. Apathetic, my dad called me. Depressed, my therapist said, but I stopped going to see him a few months ago. Too much effort, you know. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I don't talk to many people anymore, and I'm a little distracted at the moment. Just need to get this off my chest, as it were. I was having one of my bad days when I first sat down to watch the ants. It's the kind of day where everything is grey and dull no matter the weather. Sounds are muffled and movement is slow and heavy, as though the world is underwater. I've had enough of these days to know that there's no escaping it once it starts. The only way through is to wait it out. For want of anything better to do, I drifted slowly outside to see whether I would even feel the sunshine on my face. More than anything, I wanted to avoid making eye contact with any of my neighbors, or, God forbid, having to actually talk to them. So I found myself a leafy tree to hide under a little way from the building. I settled into a gap between two roots, tucking myself away from the world. As I sat on the grass, unmoving, my gaze fell on a single scurrying ant across the ground to the base of the tree. My eyes followed it lazily, tracking it as it made its way to the roots, where it was joined by others. First 1, then 10, then 100. Gradually more and more little black bodies started to come into focus, until it finally dawned on me that I was sat inches away from a teeming nest of ants. We've been having a real problem with them recently, me and the others on our block. Not that I keep up to date with the gossip. I hear people complaining in the corridor outside my apartment, though. They're coming through the walls somehow, and they infest everything. One lady talked about opening a bag of sugar and finding it absolutely full of them. Little black dots that twitched and scurried up the side of the paper bag and across her fingers. And they bite, too. One of the little buggers got me in the kitchen the other day. I vaguely thought about calling an exterminator, but I never really got around to it. You know how it is. I did manage to do some research into ants, though. Okay, not really research, but I read a couple of Wikipedia articles. I read a lot about the nesting habits of ants. Apparently, some ants are opportunistic nesters. That means that the colony will nest practically anywhere that meets their need for food, moisture, and protection. Old wood, concrete slabs, house insulation. Our apartment block is ancient and absolutely full of damp and mold. That's probably why we've had such a problem. Back to today, I guessed I'd finally found the source of our infestation. Maybe I should have moved to sit somewhere else, but something about the heaving, thriving mass drew me nearer instead. There's something hypnotizing in the way they move, isn't there? The busy little tracks they follow. The sense of a purpose that we aren't privy to. I leaned closer, watching antennae twitch and legs skitter, fascinated by the light that glinted from their carapaces, caught up in a world both so much smaller and larger than my own. It could have been hours or seconds before I thought to become a part of it. Dreamily, I stretched my hand out to the hive. Did you know that an ant can carry over 50 times its body weight? Estimates vary, but the numbers are always impressive. Just now, I saw an ant scuttle past carrying an entire human fingernail. It looked like a thumbnail, too. Much bigger than an ant. Why did they take that? What could they want with it? The mystery almost delights me. I don't know what I was planning to do when I reached out like that. I didn't want to hurt them. I wasn't planning to squash them. I swear, I'm not like that. Lonely, not vindictive. Empty, not cruel. Maybe I just wanted to see them scurry away from my hand, to be acknowledged, noticed, seen. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe I just wanted to see what would happen. I've been watching the ant's nest for a few hours now. Or perhaps it's been days. I wouldn't really know. It's not like anyone would come looking for me, even if they did notice that I was missing. Did you know that ant mandibles are highly evolved, and often surprisingly powerful? Trap jaw ants in particular can bite with a force of up to 300 times their own body weight. Isn't that impressive? I've seen those busy jaws in action, biting, burrowing, tunneling. I didn't realize that ants could even eat meat until now, but they certainly seemed hungry for it when the tip of my finger broke the crawling mound of insects. It doesn't really hurt, though. Or perhaps it does and I've just stopped caring. I burned my arm on the stove the other day and barely felt a thing. It's probably for the best. Some ants are opportunistic nesters. Did I tell you that already? It means that the colony will nest practically anywhere that meets their need for food, moisture, and protection. Old wood, concrete slabs, house insulation, a person, me. I didn't mean to invite them in when I stretched my hand out to that teeming mass of insects, but I'm not completely sure that I regret it. They scurry up my legs and along my arms, and for the first time in a long time I feel them in my flesh, hollowing out the fatty tissue beneath my skin. I feel them in the central chambers of my heart, scurrying in and out of the veins and valves, and I feel them in the branching pathways of my lungs. I feel them in my bones, clicking and clawing and chewing. The ants burrow deep into the very core of me, and all I do is watch. Did you know that ants work together as a colony to construct masterpieces? People don't realize it, but they build the most incredible structures down there in the dirt. Thousands of tiny bodies working as one. They don't communicate either, they just know what needs to be done. I think it must be nice to have that kind of purpose. I was aimless before I sat down to watch the ants, but I almost think I could make peace with becoming a nest. At least it's something. Is it all the ants, or just these ones? I've no way of knowing, but maybe you should stay clear of any nests for a while just to be safe. It's too late for me now, and besides, it would take so much effort to move. It took enough energy just to type this, and I'm not even sure why I bothered to do that. Maybe I'm hoping that someone can help me. Maybe I don't want anyone to follow in my footsteps. Maybe I just don't want to go through this alone. I should be frightened, I know that. I think that somewhere deep, deep down I'm afraid, but it's been so long since I really felt anything at all. It's so hard to tell whether the crawling in my stomach is the terror or the swarm. It doesn't matter, really. Easier just to let them have their way, I think. Easier just to let it happen. I've been watching the ants' nest for a few hours now, but I don't think I'll be watching them for much longer. They've almost reached my eyes. Thank you for listening to this reading. Though short, I found the story to hold a curious grip as I read it through. I hope this has been an enjoyable experience for you, too. Remember to like and subscribe to see more content suggested to you in future. If you'd like to leave an upvote for Anfivina's story on the Nosleep subreddit, there is a link in the description. If you'd like to join my Discord server and submit something to read, or make a suggestion for a future video, there's a link for that too. It is my fervent hope to be able to upload 2 videos per week here, so please, stay tuned. I'm the Laughing Rook, and you've been a most welcome visitor. Until next time, friend.